We're back, Jets world. We're Jets 55. Everything Jets, living, breathing, eating, bleeding Jets. Happiness, mostly misery, but it's Jets, Jets, Jets. But before we talk about the Jets, let's talk about podcast 7. This is number 8. We did a pre-Super Bowl prediction, and the Vin Man, very sure of himself, very confident, no doubt. He wanted the world to know how brilliant he is. Predicted Eagles 31, Kansas City 10. Kansas City won't be able to do anything against that defense. I know it all. I'm the expert. I didn't watch the game. Was I right?
Yeah. I like how you said Eagles will fly. Yay! That's like, oh, look. Yeah. No.
I
Yeah.
was close. Well, wait, I was close. I got the points. The Eagles. I
Yeah.
called 31. I was just a little bit off on KC, but I got to tell you, kudos to the second half. Kudos to that Kansas City offensive line.
Yeah.
Kudos to the coaches, and of course Mahomes. They figured it out, and they couldn't stop him. We all know about the call. I didn't like it. It would have been a great end of a great, great Super Bowl. Took something away from the game in my eyes. I love that the Eagles didn't cry about it. They took it like men. But I was wrong again. I want to let the Jets world know that in my 55 years of watching sports, I've done it about a dozen times where I was very sure of myself. Jets stuff, Mets, Rangers, Knicks, and there's been about a dozen times, and I would say what exactly is going to happen, and I've been 100% wrong. I figured many of you don't know me. I gave it my shot. I look real confident. I look like I really knew what I was like.
No, listen, I get what you meant and where you were going with it. And conventional wisdom was that it was their turn this year. But the wild card was that Mahomes and what Andy Reid is capable of is really limitless. It's kind of crazy because I felt, look, there were some breaks. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, dropped it. There's a quick touchdown. The first half was Eagles, right? But the second half, look, you go a whole Super Bowl, 0 sacks. 0 sacks.
Yeah, especially that.
A bum ankle. That's amazing. Okay.
See, that's the thing. See, my whole thing was 90% predicated on, well, not 90%, but the Eagles had a great defense. We all knew about it, like number one. I really went by the premise that high ankle sprain was still going to be bad. And yeah, he got hurt at one point, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. He made that long run. I mean, my goodness, what are we talking about here? Without Hill, they did it without Hill. They got it done. He wasn't 100%, but he was probably 80%. I thought he was going to be like 30% in that game. So as I am most of the time,
one of us, is being very, humble about it, but that you were wrong. But one of us got it pretty close, and that would be me. No, all kidding aside, you're right. It was a good game, but the takeaway.
Great game.
Listen, man, you don't sack him. That's big. Jalen Hurts, I think, was not ready for the big moment, even though he had a great game. He did. Fantastic. I get it. He runs in for 3 touchdowns. I didn't think that would happen, but I didn't think he would throw, and I was right about that. He got the one, but the one thing I felt confident about was Mahomes throwing 3, and he did. So you cash in to get the chance. Yeah. He ran for 24 yards, Vin. My God,
They didn't stop him, as we all saw in the second half. But I got to tell you, I'm not going to go over it. We're going to start with who. We're going to talk about a Hall of Fame guy. Yeah. So happy. But the thing is, just the last thing, if they didn't call that penalty, this would have probably been one of the greatest Super Bowls ever if the Eagles, doing it or not, even if they didn't do it. But if they had the shot and they didn't get it done, or maybe they tied it, maybe the Super Bowl goes to OT. I mean, I think it would have been one of the
I gotta disagree with you there. Here's the thing. Because the kid said it. He said, I grabbed him. It was a penalty. I was hoping they wouldn't catch it. So there was no pushback from the guy who did it. The guy who held him said he did it. So,
well, there you go. But
I don't even care about that. The point is, it was a tie game then. So if it doesn't happen, they're still going to kick a field goal. They're just going to do it a little sooner. It didn't. The rest of
they got a $140. But listen, the kid, he was great. That young man, he was great. And listen, the bottom line is this: when I
Well,
come, when I
if,
come up with another big prediction, I'm going to look real confident. I'm going to sound really sure about myself, and I'll be wrong. So it's all good to know.
hey, bottom line, that guy Pacheco, I thought he'd do 100. He did 76 on the ground. Mahomes 44. As long as they were going to do over 100 on the ground, most of it was the second half, you know, and they did what they had to do in the second half. They found who they are and they did it right. We are who they said we are. But the takeaway is for me that Mahomes stepped up to what he's capable of doing. You have to make that call at the end of the game, because if you don't make it and it's clear that it was a penalty, then you're saying, why don't they call the penalties when they're there? Because the bottom line was the kid said, yes, it was a penalty. Sirianni said the same thing, and it never comes down to one play. But you know what? The Eagles are going to be right back there, you would think.
Now they'll be back there. This kid Hurts is good, but hey, listen, the only thing that rubbed me wrong a little bit the wrong way, and like I said again, I'm past this, is that
Yeah.
they get a lot of penalties. They let a lot, which I like. That a lot of penalties go. So here we are. They're letting penalties go. They're letting penalties go. They're letting penalties go. You're having probably maybe the greatest Super Bowl ever, almost. Put it in the top five. I guess yeah. I guess you call it.
I don't think it cheapens it, because the truth is, you let them go when there's still time to play. But if you make a foul that's egregious at the end, and that's what they were saying, and you don't call it, you're affecting the outcome of the game in the other way. So I'm just saying, if they don't call it, they kick a field goal and the Eagles get another chance. I get that. So maybe they go to overtime. Maybe it keeps going.
It would have been. It would have been. Either way, it would have been a great ending. But listen, some of our fans blasted me deservedly well. One of the fans that we have, actually, he's friend and family, is the great Joe Petruccio of Joey Paints, brilliant artist, very talented man.
Very smart man too, based on his quote, by the way.
Yeah, he got me. But listen, wrong is wrong. Love him, and so many things. We don't have like 4 hours to talk about his talents. The man who made that 1986 Mets racing stripe on the uniform.
Yeah, crazy.
But he got me deservedly so. But moving on now to good stuff for us.
You won't make another mistake ever again, right?
Oh no, all the time. I'm wrong all the time.
All good. And
I'm like the modern. Listen, I'm the modern day Francesca. I'm always wrong.
Just listen to Uncle Phil here. I know what I'm doing. 3 touchdowns, man. Anyway, what are we going to talk about now?
Well, we'll talk about something beautiful. Yeah. And we dabbled it a little bit. We discussed it, that we're going to mention it. Again, for the folks watching us, we started watching the Jets since '67. We watch every single game Joe Klecko ever played. Yeah. And we were at some of those games. And the man was a beast. He was one of the best to me, the best ever. He was a warrior. He was those guys in the trenches. It took a totally shattered knee to get that guy on IR one time, and he came back and he was just as good. Only NFL player to ever go to Pro Bowl, right. 3 different positions.
Yep.
Okay. And you know what? You watched him. There was never. You hear about guys never took a play off, never took 1 second off. He was the sack exchange. He was the sack in the sack exchange. Well, he made everybody.
There is no
better.
Nothing.
And sadly, they never got a soup with him. They had some chances. They had a championship game in that Mud Bowl, which was a disgrace that the top wasn't covered. But we could talk about all that sadness forever. But he just truly got what he deserves. And like I said, listen, I mentioned it before. Obviously, Jets fan, love him. He's my second favorite Jet. We can take a guess who number 1 is, but he's my second favorite Jet. But, I've talked about other guys that I thought should have been in the Hall of Fame that weren't getting it right away. But he got in. I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. It's good for the Jets organization, because there have been a lot of good plays over the history. Like every team has the good plays. But to finally be recognized, I think all the Jets are thrilled. All the Jets fans, the Jets world, and you're going to be there. I can't make it. I got my most beautiful niece. I got my beautiful niece's wedding, and I can't miss that.
We're gonna
You're going
go.
to be there. You're going to be there with the familia. The familia. You're going to be at the Hall of Fame in August.
We're gonna go. We're gonna, hang out. Maybe we'll see Kurt. Maybe we'll see Namath, and they're all gonna be there. You're not gonna get many more chances ever like this. But I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. I'm thrilled about that. But let me tell you, when you talk about Klecko, the thing to remember about the Jets was that we had that little window up and when they won, and they should have won the year after. But after that, there was a lot of years with Namath going down, being hurt, in and out, and they really were not what they were going to grow into. That's what we had hoped would have happened. They had Richard Todd. They had, whatever. But when Joe Klecko got there, right, all of a sudden, wow. And he even says it. He says, no more when you play the Jets, you think you're going to get an easy win, right? This guy quickly, like you said, within the first couple of years, started to turn it around for them. And throughout the 80s, at least through 87, they were a very good and competitive team. And 11-5, right? In 85, right? Unfortunately, I remember us sitting there at the New England wild card game that the Jets lost, right? And I remember a bunch of guys coming down the big escalator that were New England fans, and we were standing there, and they were quiet. They didn't want to make a big deal. And I remember saying, "That's all right, guys. Just go beat the heck out of Miami." That tells you how different the world was then. When the Patriots weren't a big deal, it was the Dolphins that we didn't like. So the Mud Bowl, oh yeah, we could talk an hour upon hour about all of that stuff. But when you talk about Joe Klecko, right? As I put it, in 86, they were 9-1. They ultimately went 10-1. We were at this game, and I think you missed this one game. I remember telling you, hey, they won, And I'm like, oh my God. They lost Klecko, Gastineau got hurt, Marty Lyons got hurt.
I was in Florida,
Yeah.
and it was just around the time where I was watching. Somehow I wound up in Florida. I played it months ago, 6 months before. So I wasn't with my friends for the last three games of the World Series for the Mets.
Yeah.
And I'm all happy that the Jets are winning. I'm reading these little articles in Florida, and you're telling me, well, Klecko's hurt, this guy's hurt, Lance Miller's hurt.
Lance Mill doesn't come back the rest of the year,
They lose like the last 5 games.
Yeah, and then Gastineau and Lyons got hurt. They come back, but they weren't really the same, And look, that year was their year to do it all, because they go out and they beat in that wild card game, right? Kansas City. They beat the heck out of them, 35-15, with guys that were injured, that they weren't really pieced together. This is the year we saw the shootout. They won 51-45 in overtime. It's like Wesley, it was unbelievable. They were so good, and Ken O'Brien that year was really good. But Klecko was the heart and soul of that team. And when he went down, what happens? They were not 10-1, they end up 10-6. You think it has nothing to do with that? It has everything to do with it. This guy was out, gone, heart and soul over. Somehow they got that one playoff game done. And then they're in the Cleveland game, and Gastineau does that stupid roughing the passer against.
For those who don't know, the Jets were winning 20-10. It was 4 minutes to go. Kozak couldn't do anything. He's going on 4th down. It's like 4th and 20. He fades back like another 20 yards, and he's like, you don't even have to do anything, and he throws the ball, and then this stupid toss, and Gastineau roughing the passer.
The flag is down. Oh my God, yeah. And then they lose in double freaking overtime, right? Yeah, and the point is, look, they should have had that one. They would have played Denver. They would have beat Denver, because the Jets would have been, high octane. I'm really confident they would have taken care of Denver, and you would have had a Jet-Giant Super Bowl. That would have been amazing. But we're still waiting 36 years later. That's the highest moment for me. That middle 80s Jets, 1985, 6, and even 87, that was the window where they should have won a Super Bowl, or at least gotten back to another one. But the whole thing was Klecko. He goes down, my God, and you're right. Who is the quintessential Jet other than Namath, throw Curtis Martin in there too now, and Joe Klecko. I mean, the guy was just the blue collar, hard working, do anything for the team guy, and the fans loved him. Shea Stadium, he goes back to that. So, we're just thrilled that he's in, right? I
Well,
mean,
for
that's
you,
it.
right,
Bottom
that's
line.
about it. You fans, uh, who saw him play, you know what we're talking about. For you younger folks who haven't seen him play, go on some YouTube, get some Joe Klecko clips of playing.
I think we have
You'll
some
be
clips
like,
coming up right now too. So yeah, just take a
you
look.
see,
The guy was unbelievable.
right? We'll show you some stuff, but great thing. I'm so glad it happened. A little bit side note. I mean, I'm happy for this other guy, Revis, but he never really he left the Jets, and and obviously his skills got a little bit less, and where he went to and everything, came back, but he was done. But great player to watch. I mean, going to the games, having the season tickets, and they would announce the offense would announce the defense, but then at the end they would announce like Revis all by himself
I
to show
know.
you the level of a player he was. When you had that tandem of him and Cromartie, just great. So glad another Jets who didn't end the Jets, did end, but still glad he's in the Hall of Fame. Glad he made it. There was no reason why. Just so many Pro Bowls. I mean, just games where they didn't. Most of his career, no one threw to him. That's how good he was, and that's
He shut
incredible.
down big receivers. It wasn't like he shut down nobodies. He was
Everybody.
unbelievable. And you know, he was traded to the Bucks first. He never wanted to leave the Jets. That was on the Jet, the whole GM debacle. I never wanted, he just wanted to be paid for what he was supposed to be paid. So they traded him, and then he's a free agent. He wanted to come back. They didn't offer him anything. So you know where he goes. He gets his ring there, but then he's us. He actually went on record saying that he understands the hatred. He hates the Patriots. I remember seeing that somewhere. The guy's a Jet. That's it. There's no doubt about it. And Klecko and him, Namath, Curtis Martin. That's it. Retired, numbers and Hall of Fame, Jet Hall of Fame. That's about as good as it gets for us. So thrilled that both of those guys got in. And yeah, I'm really excited to go. I mean, I'm on the West Coast. We told you that. So I'm going to go. We're going to do it. And, we'll sweat our asses off there. I'm sure it'll be nice and hot and humid, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So
Well, the
I'm
best part is I'm spending all day planning with you, and then my lovely wife comes home, and it's like, yeah, Cooperstown, not Cooperstown. Show you what I know. Going to Cleveland, gonna head out to to the
Ohio.
football NFL. I mean, I'm gonna be heading that direction and everything, and I'm all excited. Went to Cooperstown once, by the way. A little disappointed, but anyway. So I'm telling my wife about it. She goes, it's Serena's wedding, my niece. I'm like, oh, I just get that look, like that lovely wife look when they look at you and like, well, how stupid are you? Which was warranted.
You did ask her to postpone it for 1 week, right? And she said no.
What's that?
You did ask her to postpone it for a week, but she
Yeah,
said,
yeah, cool. No, the best part is the next night I see my niece, and obviously I'm not telling her anything about this. And what's the first words out of her mouth? She goes, Uncle Vinny, you didn't remember my wedding, so my wife goes straight to her to tell her that, hey, just to let you know, Uncle Vinny forgot all about your wedding. Hey, good for me.
hey, we're in our 60s. You expect us to remember August this, or who cares? No, I mean, you would never miss it. She's a beautiful kid. That's great. But come on, you're not
But
going to remember.
I'm 62. I'm happy that I find a laptop so we could do this. You kidding
That's
me?
right. Yeah, yeah. So, but
But,
look, it's going to be fun. But getting back to Revis and again, that's the Rex Ryan D. They did a good job for a while. It just didn't get done. It's a shame, but they were right there. But
hoping it was going to be long term with him. Too bad.
yeah, he's just another guy who's not really a head coach. But I think we got the right coach now. Now
And
getting
it
back,
was great. It was great that night. No, I think we do. Well, no, we definitely do in the GM. Tired of hearing about Woody. I wish I would hear more about Chris Johnson because he knows what he's doing. He's a lot better than Woody. But
Leave
it was a great night, Klecko and Revis, but also, again, Garrett Wilson and Sauce. Gardner, those guys getting their honors and everything,
Wow.
first year rookies and all that. That was, you know,
You
it
got the
was a
old
good
and you
night
got
for
the
the
new.
Jets. It
You
was
know?
a good, got the old and new, and hopefully that new will really propel us and everything. So a lot to be excited about. But it was a great. It felt good as a Jets fan. You know, the young Jets fans felt good. The middle-aged Jets fans, the old guys like us, felt good, and it was good to see so
Well,
many
you know,
Jets.
you had Namath there, and we talked about this on Sunday. You know, the door knocking thing, and it's Klecko and him, and you know, Namath is all over it. He loves him, and you know, and Klecko, all the respect. It made all the difference to him that Namath was the guy that. But the point is, now they're in. That means to players that feel the Jets never get it done, that you could still get in the Hall of Fame. If you're a great player, despite your team, you could get in. And the Jets, if they had won a Super Bowl in the middle 80s, not only would Klecko be in, but you'd have other guys that might have gotten a sniff. That, like Joe Fields was an unbelievable center. He was, you know, not
Well, listen,
going
if
to get in.
listen, there were all these times, there were these different times where they had a shot. It was after Namath and after we had the shot with Walt Michaels, his
Right.
time, a little bit of Joe Walton. Then we had the next shot, really was a long time, came back with Parcells. Who knows? I was a big fan of Vinny Testaverde. If that little stupid snap of the ankle, the guy never got hurt. He was so big, so solid. A freak thing like that would change the history of football, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we had our chance with Rex. So we have our times. Now the time is we kicked in the door. We just got to bust right through it. And listen, speaking of that, it's going to lead us to kind of our last topic, and it's going to lead us to the QB world. You know, because everybody's saying it. Jets fans, Jets coaches, Jets players, Jets haters, the media, everybody's saying it. If the Jets had any kind of good quarterback play, not great, not elite, any kind of good quarterback play, and they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine that are Giants fans, and they said, dude, they should have been in. Terrible quarterback play. I'm still a fan of Mike White. He just got too beat up. But now here we are, and we know what it is. It's Rodgers, it's Carr, on a lesser extent, it's what do you call who's the other one? I'm terrible with the Garoppolo. Garoppolo.
Garoppolo and a late
I don't even
entry,
want to remember his name. I
a
know I'm
late,
being bad. I don't
a late
remember it. I just
entry
keep
now, Pitt,
thinking,
Tannehill. They're talking Tannehill now. That's what I see that's going on today, just 3 hours ago, that they're talking to him maybe as a
well,
possibility.
the other good thing is
Everybody's better.
I thought they weren't going to be part of it. They seemed like they were kind of being thought of souring on Carr and not being involved. Now they're in that game. Now they're in the try to get Carr. They're in that arena. They're looking for him. I've said it from the beginning. I know people detract or don't like it or Rodgers, and I said last time, I'll say it again. All these experts, these former players who don't like him, just talk about a football player, not his personality, not this, not that. I know we all know what he's like. And again, everybody's like, "Well, he he looks at a receiver if he doesn't make the right route." Well, I've seen quarterbacks yelling at their players, being really cruel and mean. I've never seen Rodgers, like I said last time, yell at a player. I've seen him like, yeah, point, you were supposed to go this way, him frustrating. But what's wrong with that?
Right.
If that's going to make people better. So, but if I had a bet, if it's going to be the usual Jets, and I don't want to say it, but somehow you think they're gonna, go the wrong direction or too many chips on one guy, and you feel like they're just gonna wind up with nobody.
Well,
you
I
know,
don't think they get nobody. I think it
I hope
might be
not.
somebody that I'm beginning to think that with his little respite where he's going to be out there thinking and go enough already. You know, I'm tired of his crap already, honestly. And he's not even with us. If you're going to really think this through, I'm not going to sit here and bite my fingernails and worry about if Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Jets. I'm starting to get like Klecko now. It's like, do it, shut up, and get it done. But I don't want to hear that I know what I'm going to do. And it's like, how many Super Bowls you win? You know, one. If this isn't like it's Brady, like, relax, pal. If he comes, great. But you know what? The real question is, what do you do in the meantime? Do you wait for
Right.
the guy? You gonna let Carr go by the boards? If so, I think Garoppolo, he's hurt. He'll be there still. Tannehill's got 1 year left on his, I think, contract, so he could be had real easily. If they want to move on. I think they are moving on from him. Yeah. So I don't really like Tannehill. I never really did, but anybody is an improvement. We keep saying that, but to me, if Aaron Rodgers would just do it, pull the trigger, and get it done fast, I'm good. I don't want this to be protracted. I don't want this to be months. It's got to be done now in March. This
Well, that's
month.
what I'm saying. Is waiting for Rodgers. All they're waiting for Rodgers. If they're waiting or waiting on him, and then they stumble over their own, feet and lose opportunities, man. I don't. I have a feeling. I hope I'm wrong. I'm wrong about so many things,
We
which
won't
is.
talk about that. We started the show with that. But no,
But I'm
man.
just saying. I wish I have a gut feeling, and I hope it's wrong because I just feel like they're going to look one direction while something's happening, while things are being passed on the other side or behind their backs. I hope it doesn't happen, but I would be very disappointed if it's not Rodgers or Carr. I actually kind of like Carr. I would think it would be kind of really crazy if Rodgers goes to the Raiders and Carr goes to the Jets.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just think Carr has a lot to prove. I think he has the talent to get there, and he is 31.
But
You
he'll end up
know,
going to the Saints or the Colts or something. Listen, you know me, I kind of live with that. I get like these vibes and about what's going to happen when a guy's time is up, and it's like, okay, you could tell it starts to go down, like when a coach wears out his welcome or whatever. Like DeGrom this year, I felt when the guy was rehabbing, and he's looking at all the fans that went down to see him rehab in a game, and he's in his interview, he said the Met fans have always been good to me, right? We're always good to me. It's in the past tense. So he told us then, he should have said, the Met fans are always so great to me. Love the Met fan. He was already gone. Aaron Rodgers, see, for me, you pick up on those little things. There's subliminal things that these guys can't. They don't even know they're saying. So DeGrom was clearly, I'm not the only guy saying that, but that he was going to not come. I mean, I believe that he made that decision the year before. But okay, he's going to say what he wants. Yeah, I wish him well, blah, blah, blah. But Aaron Rodgers, it started to sound, I love Hackett. I love this. He started giving, us the food, giving the stuff there, and then quiet. Don't like that. That to
that
me,
was the
yeah,
stick and the carrot hanging over
that's the
right in front of our
bad.
faces.
That's the
And the
thing
thing is,
about
he's not even right. He's not even the Jets, and now we're all getting a little taste of what I'm sure Packer fans have been feeling for how many years now? The last
exactly
4 or 5 years with this BS.
right.
Um, I don't think it's anything intentional on his part, but it's like very laissez-faire. I'll take my time, and you got to deal with it. But I just hope it doesn't. You hear speculation, and there are those who are the expert of what the Jets are going to do, and it's really never comes down to what they say. But like I said it before. Under with this, I just don't want them to go after this guy and lose or lose
Right.
the opportunity with somebody. For me, it's
Well,
Carr,
look at
not Big
oh, yeah.
Buffalo.
Look at the Mets. DeGrom, they had plans. They knew what they were going to do right away. You have to have, we were in conversation with Jake, blah 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 blah, blah. But they weren't going to sit there and wait and let us know what you want to do. The Jets should take a page out of that book. And if I think JD's like that, I don't think he's waiting for anybody. I know they
I
want,
hope, yeah, I
but they're
agree with
not
you.
going to. He's going to say, "Look, man, you're in there 4 nights, and enough with his thing. I don't want to. He's selling his future as some guy, as a personality, post football with this kind of stuff. And good for him. That's fine. He's a mystic. He does his ayahuasca. He gets mushrooms and whatever. God bless him. That's fine. Dude, you're 39 years old. You should be all in about now what you're doing. Not that I have to really think about it. You know, what is this? You know, it's a little bit too much already, like you said. And that to me is the vibe that's wrong because he was all in. I love him, Hackett. Family, great. Bob, everybody's great. Everything was fantastic. Love Zach Wilson. He's a good kid. You know, he gave all the signals and then dead silence. So that's no good to me. And I'm not at this point in my life hoping or waiting or caring for that guy. If that's what it is, do it. But I think Carr, you know, now he's a free agent. What does it cost? Nothing. You know, cut a few guys. They already are making some space. Give him what he wants. Sign him, you know, but, you know, get it done. And yeah, Garoppolo or Tannehill, they're band-aids for a year, maybe. You know, you're still in that same spot. Like, what the heck are we going to do for quarterback? What are we going to do?
If you're calling those guys band-aids, I think then the boo-boo is way too big for those band-aids to handle.
That
But on
leads
that
to,
note, what do you think about it, buddy? Should we throw out? We threw out a question. Our first question to interact with our fans,
yep.
and the second we asked the question about could you live with Brady being the Jets quarterback to start the season next year? He retires officially.
Right.
So you think we throw out another quick question?
Then we'll have a quarterback by the weekend if we do it. Right. If we put the question out now, we're going to have a quarterback. Do you know it? They're going to listen. They're going to
After we put the question out there, signing them tonight. But the question we want to throw at you, you see it on the bottom of the screen where to send it to our email. Give us your answer. Be a little thorough, but who do you think will be starting on the center next year for the Jets? Who do you think that quarterback? Who's going to be the guy? Don't just give us a name. Give us a little bit more. Give us your reason why you think it's going to be him. We want this homework assignment thoroughly answered.
Right.
But again, we always like to have fun with that. But that's our second question ever on the Jets 55 podcast. We'll be answering. We'll look at the answers we'll be talking about the answers in our next podcast, which will be podcast 9. But for now, who do you think will be starting on the center? And what do we have to do, Phil? We have to give our answers. And I'm going to ask you to go first. I want to see what you think. Who do you think will be under center that first snap, first game next year, starting a whole new season? Who's under center for the Jets?
And the problem is, it's not who we want. As of today, I think it's Tannehill.
Oh. Okay, you know what? Too bad you're in California. If we were sitting next to each other, you're just gonna rip my kidney out. Just rip my kidney out, and it would have been done.
Listen, it should be Rodgers. We went through this before, and we were detailed about the fact that it's going to be him. But like I say, all that stuff got quiet now. So, and now they're spending time with Carr, but Carr has choices. He really does. And Aaron Rodgers really just has, honestly, either the Jets or the Raiders, sounds like. Where else is he going to go, you know? But Carr, he's got 4 or 5 places, you know? And, you know, oh, he's not that good in cold weather, all that nonsense again. That's the knock on Carr. Well, Aaron Rodgers, you know, he played his whole career in freezing cold weather. So you would think he's the right guy. I want, and I think they need him for 2 years. I don't want his baloney. I think Carr, long-term, is the right answer. But we've said this, short-term to win, that's it. But I could see them losing out on every one and ending up with a guy like Tannehill or Garoppolo. So, I don't know.
You know what the best thing about this? We won't know who's right until more than 6 months from now. So, you know, just everybody sit back, wait there 6 months. You don't have to do much and wait for us to come up or when we see what these
question every week, you know what I mean? We can ask this question every week, you know what I mean? We'll see who signs and who do you think now? Who do you think now? Because it's a shame because they should have their own guy already. It's disgusting.
Well, but I know it's bad. I'm playing that cynical Jets fan. What I'm saying is if they do sign someone in a couple of days, we still don't know if he's going to be in the center, but you know, with everything, you know, you always hear about the preseason practices and preseason games yeah. So, but again, we should know.
Is that what you're going to say?
I'm going to go crazy when the season starts. I say under center, you're going to think I'm nuts. Is Mike White, and you know me, I want to start my Mike White fan club. I hope he really takes the time to bulk up a little bit, get healthy, get a little stronger, a little bit bigger, be able to take maybe some of those vicious hits a little bit better. I'm not saying he's a thin rail, but just a little bit big, a little more weight, a little more muscle. Um, really start developing that guy. And I said it, I'm repeating myself, developing, man. But I'm going with Mike White on the center starting.
Well,
And
folks, you thought we weren't crazy. There you go. It's like Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr. We go with Mike White and Ryan Tannehill. It's like, yeah.
did I say,
We know, you know.
oh, we always propose ourselves as being experts. Did I say 31-10 Eagles or did I say 31-10 KC?
Yeah, no, it could be either. But I mean, look, you're right. That's the missing piece. And for me, the last thing I'll say, I'll shut the heck up. You have Klecko and Namath right now, and Curtis Martin, Hall of Famers, right? You have two guys now, leaders on both sides of the ball, Wilson and Gordon. They're second-year guys now. All of a sudden, they're going to take a more important role without even having to think about it in their second years. So there's going to be accountability. They're going to step up. And now you're going to have Joe Klecko popping by. You'll see that now. It's a Hall of Famer now. So you're going to see him around a little bit more. And I think it lends itself well to them right now in this moment to build on it, bring in a real quarterback. We really should ask the question, is it Carr or is it Rodgers? Because those are the two that are defining moments for the Jets, that if they get one of those two, it's really, really then you're on the course where you could, go deep. I don't want to say Super Bowl, but who the heck knows?
Well, I'll be saying it for the third time now. If it is Rodgers, oh my God. Wait, I guess I shouldn't say it. I'm always wrong. But I'm going to say it. I guarantee a Jets Super Bowl. I guarantee a Jets Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Rodgers and Hackett. I think Elijah Moore is going to be a star with a quarterback like him, even with Carr. But if I say the Jets win the Super Bowl. And again, to our fans, our Jets 55 podcast fans, think about the question. Who do you think will be on the center? Send in your answer to our email, and we'll have some fun with that on podcast number 9.
Yeah.
And
they're expecting big things from Denzel Mims now. All of a sudden, it's it. Who knows? You got a whole new mindset with a whole new offensive. We talked about the coaches that have come in. The other guy with the DUI now they've got in there. So they're really trying to beef up the holes that they had. And I hope they bring in a quality guy, like we said, like either one of those two. But whoever it is, it's still an improvement. So. You know
what? This is Jets fans. This is our time, because when the season's over, everything we say that the possibilities, it all smells like roses. Too many times we wind up with onions. But let's hope, man. Listen, I as crazy as I am, I don't want to be same old Jets, because I love the coach, love the GM, love the scouts,
right?
I love the team they have. Let's get a good QB somehow, some way. JD, I think you're amazing. Obviously, I guess we can say you dropped the ball in the most important pick. Sometimes I get it; it's luck. Everybody can say, well, when even Lamar Jackson, when he got picked, and and all of a sudden everybody's like, he's not going to be good. Oh, we knew he was going to be great. Oh my God, we all knew. So, but
they were all in on Wilson, and that's the problem. You can't undo that. You can't rewind that. And like you said, you want to come up smelling roses, but every rose is set with fertilizer, right? So everything is grows in fertilizer. So sometimes it smells like that. So what are you going to do?
Or a lot of thorns. We got a lot of thorns.
Thorns and crap, so I don't know.
Listen, Philly boy,
Yep.
Enjoy the podcast with you as always.
It's fun.
And I'm already looking forward to podcast 9 and seeing some of those answers, what the Jets faithful are thinking about
Who's
Um,
under center and why? You know, that's
who's
it.
under center and why? Very good. You see, I say it in 10 minutes. You say it in one quick sentence.
All right, and
All right, buddy boy.
and very nice humility at the beginning, and you know, hopefully we're in it next year. So, all right, we'll talk to you soon.
Take care, bud. Take care, folks.
Bye bye.